This is a basic Lego Animal Crossing set, and it has a bunch of these really ugly gaps that don't look very good. And it's missing the entire back of the build. And I could just go into creative mode and use the power of editing to get 3 more sets, but that's kind of like cheating. So instead, I'm going to use my own bricks to rebuild and upgrade the entire set, starting with the base. I started by using these gray plates that had an outline of where I wanted the build to go. And now let's get back to the actual set. I'm going to start by removing all this stuff I'm not going to use yet and save it for later. And now I can remove these old walls of the building to add them to the new base. And now that we have a pile of a deconstructed Lego set, let's add it to the base. And now the set has a bigger base, so we can add more stuff on the outside. And we can start by filling up the interior. So now we can take all this stuff that was in the old build and add it to the new interior. But there's definitely not enough room in here for all the customers we're going to have later, so let's fix that. So since this one is too small, we can put it in the trash pile and make a way bigger base. And this new base is so massive it can fit the old one inside of it. And I had a white picket fence like you see in the actual set. I even used this illegal building technique to attach the fence, so please don't call the cops. Anyways, and since I still have my new build to look kind of like the original one, I'm just going to do some parts of it, like this door piece, and maybe this window piece too. Okay, now let's design an entirely new door. And I added the lamp and the flag from the original build, and the window that we took earlier. But that one definitely doesn't seem like enough, so let's add another one. And I added the snot brick so we can hang the picture from the original set on the wall. And now let's finish up these 2 walls and then get onto the inside. Okay, now that most of the outside is done, let's move on to the inside. And now this new building is much bigger, we can add this thing that was on the outside of the old build inside the new build. But let's move all this stuff aside so we can tile off the floor and make it nice and smooth. But before I lay down any tiles, I'm going to map it where I want all this stuff to go inside the store. Okay, now I'm going to remove the checker counter and add some plates so we know where not to put smooth tiles. And I do the same thing to the sewing machine. And I'll also do to this stuff over here. Okay, now we can tile off the rest of the floor. Okay, my phone actually died when I was filming, so I guess you don't get to watch me do any more tiling. And now I can repopulate our store with a bunch of these store displays that we'll add back in from the old store. And we'll have this checkout counter for the customers who buy way too much stuff and don't have anywhere else to put it. And we can add back in the sewing machine, that little cushion, and the random sign. And now I'll go back into creative mode to finish up this back wall. Hope you liked that because that took a lot of editing. And now that the inside is finished, we can do the outside because it's still pretty boring. So let's grab a couple more things to finish it off. I'll start by placing the lemon tree in the front yard and adding flowers to every side of the building. And I placed this white border on the top to help support the roof. And I upgraded and extended this roof section so it fits across the entire store. And now the roof looks great. There's a small gap on this side and a massive gap right here, but let's just ignore that. But we're still missing a lot of the roof. And there's a pretty big hole right here. But I don't have enough green tiles to complete the roof design from the front, so I decided to make a giant white roof matching the stripes on the sides. Now it's time for some more bricklicking. And now it's almost complete. But when you actually do slide this in place, there's this giant annoying gap. I just used a bunch of these 1x1 bricks to fix it. And I think that looks pretty good. And I also had the chimney from the original set. And I decided to add some nice stone pathway leading up to the door. Now it's time to add the minifigures back. But this set doesn't seem fully complete. So I'm going to take a trip to the backlog, so I can nab my other Animal Crossing set to help finish this. So let's go. And this set is pretty cool. It has a telescope, pine tree, the literal moon, and even a picnic blanket, and this owl minifigure. And we can see a couple of these things from my custom build. We can start by planting the lime tree next to the lemon tree, and even adding the picnic blanket. And on the opposite side of the build, I'm going to add the telescope. And I'll put the flower on the back side. And now we can add the minifigures back onto the display. And I'll put this owl guy over here next to his telescope. And now it's complete. And there's plenty of room inside compared to the old one. And the back is still really basic and boring, but at least it looks good for the front. And I was really glad with all the stuff I was able to add from the original set, like the window and all the stuff around the door, and the trees and the picnic blanket, and that really nice fence angle. And now it's done.